This story begins with a man named Enzo, who is a painter by profession and teaches karate to kids in his free time. One night, when Enzo was returning home from work, he lit a cigarette while standing at the bus stop. But the very next moment, a car splashed water on him, putting out his cigarette. Angry, Enzo threw away the cigarette and stood by the roadside staring at it. That cigarette, floating away with the water, went straight into a sewer right in front of the Bank of Rio. Now, Enzo followed that sewer and reached a large bridge where the sewer water was flowing out. Then, he went inside the drain pipe beneath the bridge and started inspecting the surroundings. During this time, an idea struck his mind, the idea of robbing that bank. The next morning, he went to meet his friend Sebastian and told him about his plan. Sebastian also needed money badly, so he agreed to be part of the plan. However, to carry out this heist, they needed a lot of expensive equipment and some weapons. But at that moment, both of them didn't even have a single penny. To arrange the money, Enzo went to meet a man named Debauza, who was his old friend. But Debauza didn't have enough money to fund the heist either, so he gave Enzo the address of a man named Mario. Mario was also a thief who used to commit small robberies now and then. The next morning, Enzo went to meet Mario and told him the entire plan. Enzo said that if they succeeded in this robbery, Mario would never have to steal again in his life. Hearing this, Mario was a bit confused at first but eventually agreed to join the plan. That night, both of them went near the sewer and Enzo dropped a measuring tape inside it. Then both went into the pipe and measured its depth using the tape. After a few calculations, Enzo told Mario that they were only 18 meters away from becoming millionaires. However, Mario was worried that if it rained on the day of the robbery and the water level in the pipe rose, their plan would fail. Enzo replied that they would carry out the heist only when the weather was perfectly clear. Mario agreed, and they began planning the robbery in detail. During this time, they discovered that motion sensors were installed inside the bank. If anyone tried to enter the bank at night, the alarm system would immediately be triggered. Enzo explained to everyone that motion sensors don't detect movement but body heat. Then, he used a sleeping bag to make a special suit that could hide body heat. The next day, Enzo went into the bank and started taking photos of every department so he could understand the layout and make a blueprint. But while doing so, the security guards caught him taking pictures and took him to the basement. Actually, this was Enzo's trick so he could reach the basement and see the lockers closely. The guards checked Enzo's camera but found nothing because he had already removed the SD card. Since they didn't have any proof against him, they let him go. After this, Enzo went back to his teammates and showed them the blueprint he had made from those photos. He told everyone that they would enter the bank through the basement because that's where all the lockers were located. Once they had the blueprint, they measured the distance between the bank and the sewer using a bicycle. They marked the tire of the bicycle and rode it from the sewer to the bank, counting how many times the tire rotated to calculate the distance. The next day, Enzo made some calculations and figured out the exact angle they would need to dig to reach directly inside the bank. Meanwhile, Enzo told Mario that the money they were about to steal was insured by the bank, meaning that no common people's money would be lost in this robbery. That night, they all went under the sewer and started digging a tunnel inside the pipeline. They also included a man named Alberto in their plan who would help them escape after the robbery. But even after all this planning, their biggest problem was how they would open the lockers inside the bank. There were a total of 400 lockers, and if it took 1 minute to open one locker, it would take 6 hours to open them all. The next day, Mario went to another branch of the same bank and took a locker in his name. While opening it, he carefully studied its mechanism. The next day, Mario and his teammates stole a van that they would use to escape after the robbery. Then they went to Alberto's house and waited outside for him. But suddenly, a police team arrived and started questioning them because they had parked the van in the middle of the road. Before the police could get suspicious, Alberto and his wife came out of the house and told the officers that these men were their guests and were waiting for them. That night, they went back into the sewer and continued digging the tunnel. But after a few hours of digging, their drilling machine broke down and their work stopped. Seeing this, Mario got angry and said that he had already spent all his savings on this job and couldn't invest anymore. Saying this, he left. That night, when Enzo was with his girlfriend, an idea suddenly struck his mind during their conversation. The next morning, he went to Mario's house and told him his new plan, that they would rob the bank not at night, but in broad daylight. Enzo's idea was that they would enter through the main gate during the day so that the bank staff and police would think it was just a simple robbery. While the police waited outside, they would escape through the tunnel, and by the time the police discovered it, they'd already be far away. Mario liked this plan and agreed to go along with it. On the day of the robbery, they all applied glue to their hands to hide their fingerprints. Sebastian went into the sewer to dig the tunnel further, while the rest of the team, disguised, entered the bank. Once inside, they put on masks and took all the customers hostage. The security guard saw everything on the camera and immediately informed the police. Mario went to the cashier and asked him to fill a suitcase with money, while Alberto went to the parking lot and locked the gate from the inside. Within minutes, the police surrounded the entire bank. Seeing this, Enzo took one hostage at gunpoint and brought him outside to threaten the police. Enzo shouted that if anyone tried to enter the bank, they would kill all the hostages. Inside, Mario took another hostage and ordered the security guard to come out. The guard refused at first, but after Mario's threats, he finally came out. Mario took his gun and his phone before sending him outside so the police could contact him through that phone if needed. After sending the guard out, Enzo turned off all the cameras so that no evidence would remain against them. Then, Enzo went to the basement and moved a cabinet aside. Meanwhile, Sebastian had finished digging and entered the bank through the tunnel. Once inside, Enzo and Sebastian went to the parking lot, took a machine from the car trunk, and assembled it in the locker room. Sebastian, who was a civil engineer, had built a special machine that could open lockers in just 7 seconds. They all set timers on their watches, and Enzo and Sebastian began breaking open the lockers. Meanwhile, Mario found out that police officers had reached the roof of the bank, so he immediately called the captain leading the operation and threatened that if the officers didn't come down, they would kill all the hostages. Reluctantly, the captain agreed but placed 2 snipers on the opposite building, ready to shoot the robbers if they got a chance. Mario then told the captain to connect him to the town's mayor. The captain replied that it would take at least an hour for the mayor to arrive. Meanwhile, Enzo and Sebastian had already opened several lockers filled with cash and gold. Outside, the police were planning how to catch the robbers because they thought it was just a simple heist and that the thieves were trapped inside. The captain called Mario again and offered him a deal. If they surrendered, he would assign them a government lawyer and they would get a lighter sentence. But Mario refused and asked for more time to think. Meanwhile, we see an old lady whose birthday was that day. When Mario found out, he gave her a chocolate and sent her out of the bank as a birthday gift. A little while later, the mayor arrived outside the bank. When Mario talked to him, he cursed the mayor angrily. Then Mario told the captain that he didn't want to talk to any minister, but to his lawyer. When the captain asked for his lawyer's number, Mario gave him a hostage's number. When the captain called that number, Mario disguised his voice and pretended to be the lawyer. He did this to buy more time for his teammates. Meanwhile, Enzo and the others were transferring all the stolen money into the tunnel, and Mario was managing the police and hostages inside. At the same time, the captain kept trying to call Mario's so-called lawyer, but since Mario had turned off the phone, the captain started suspecting something. Then his eyes fell on the sewer outside the bank, and he realized there might be a third escape route. Inside, the robbers loaded all the loot into a boat, and Enzo left all their weapons inside the bank vault. It was then revealed that all those weapons were fake because Enzo didn't want to hurt anyone. After that, Mario locked all the hostages on the first floor of the bank and left with Enzo. When the hostages realized that the robbers had left, they quickly picked up their phones and called their families outside. When the captain understood everything, he sent one team inside through the main gate and another through the sewer. Meanwhile, Mario and Enzo destroyed all traces of the tunnel and reached their teammates. Now the story goes into a flashback showing how Enzo had already predicted that the police would figure out they would escape through the sewer. So he and his team built a small dam inside the sewer to divert the water flow in another direction, allowing them to escape on their motorboat that way. The captain reached the bank's basement and found the tunnel, but he couldn't follow it because there was a bomb at the tunnel's entrance. However, he soon discovered that, like their weapons, the bomb was also fake. But by then, it was too late. The robbers had already reached their exit point. Enzo and his teammates came out of the sewer into the van. Sebastian handed up all the stolen goods, climbed up himself, and they all escaped. In this way, a small group of thieves fooled the government and the police and stole a total of $30 million. After the robbery, they went to Alberto's house, divided the loot equally, and burned the van they had used. After erasing all the evidence, they all went their separate ways and started living a luxurious life with the stolen money. However, months later, Alberto's wife found out that he was having an affair with another woman. Furious, she went straight to the police and told them everything about the robbery. Once the police got the information, they tracked down the robbers one by one, seized all their money, and sent them to jail. Then we see the story 7 months later. Enzo was being released from jail, and Mario was waiting for him outside in an expensive car. Here it is revealed that Enzo had already planned that if they ever got caught, they would receive receive a minimal sentence. Since they had used fake weapons during the robbery and hadn't harmed anyone, the court sentenced them to only 7 months in prison. Also, since the bank had no record of the money stored in the lockers, the government never found out how much the robbers had actually stolen. The bank claimed that the thieves had stolen $25 million and several kilograms of gold, but during the investigation, the police found only $1 million. This meant the robbers had hidden most of the loot. Finally, Enzo and his teammates were free and went on to live a comfortable life with the hidden money. I hope you liked today's story. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.